Hello again. Let's talk some more about Egypt, and we can join Tamim Al Barghouti, who's live for us in Washington, D.C. He's a professor at Georgetown University's Center for Contemporary Arab Studies. So we're looking at this latest development there in Egypt, the Muslim Brotherhood, due to hold talks with the government later today on Sunday. Do you think this is the move that's necessary to break the impasse?
No, I think that when you have a million people on in the square and millions all over Egypt, you're too strong to negotiate with anyone, and this government has lost its legitimacy since the 25th of January. And on the other hand, I think the government will not be serious in any negotiations. They just want to buy time, and from what I've been seeing in and around Tahrir Square, they have almost a military plan to besiege the demonstrators in the square, cut their supplies, and harass them with thugs every now and then until they break their morale. Now, it hasn't been working so far, but the plan is quite in place. I actually want to take this opportunity to ask the Egyptian Red Crescent and the International Red Cross to guarantee that supplies, food and medicine and blankets in cold weather reach the square. I know from people on the ground who have been trying to get medical supplies to the square that they are attacked by thugs. The medical supplies are taken, sometimes thrown into the Nile, and sometimes they are taken by the army. This siege has to end, and no negotiations can work under siege. We know that at least from the Palestinian experience.
But even if Mubarak does, for example, step down tomorrow, someone is going to have to step up to carry these negotiations forward. Who should that be?
Well, I don't think there should be any negotiations. As I said, people will have to decide, is this a protest that demands constitutional reform, or is this a revolution? Nobody talks about the constitution of Louis XVI or of the Shah of Iran or of Tsarist Russia when we are talking about a revolution. So people should not be afraid of power vacuum. In fact, people in Egypt throughout, and in Cairo in particular, have been running the city and the country in the absence of the government for the past week or so, and they've been doing it quite well. If it were not for the government paying thugs to disrupt law and order, the country would have worked quite well. So I don't think there is any need for negotiations. As far as representation is concerned, who represents the people in the square, well, we know the heads of all Egyptian parties and political societies, and they have been forming a number of committees. One of them included Baradei, Muslim Brothers, nationalists, liberals and communists. And I think this broad coalition can take care of the affairs of the country once Mubarak, and I have to stress, his vice president, leave or resign.
Okay, Tamim Al Barghouti, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks very much for your thoughts from Washington.